Welcome to Mera Bharat live talk show. Today we have present member of Parliament Rajya Sabha representing state of Punjab, also chairman committee of subordinate legislation Rajya Sabha, member of the Indian National Congress Mr. Pratap Singh Bajwa. Also, we have with us senior consultant and advisor critical care and COVID team from Apollo Hospital Delhi, India, Mr. MS Cover. Actually, I should say Dr. MS Cover. And we are so proud of him because he has been connected with us from the time COVID has started and he has been supported US and Indian people and all over the world. He's a great support for all of us. And also we have Dr. Ekta Soni, senior psychiatrist from Apollo Hospital, Delhi, India. And of course, viewers, you all know Apollo is one of the best hospitals in India. We are proud to have all of them with us today. So let's welcome them. Welcome to the show. Thank you all for coming on our show. Dr. Kanwar is a wonderful person, I'll say, and he has been connected with My Dream TV and he has been spreading awareness with our people over here. And especially, I would like to thank you, Dr. Kanwar, from our viewers. उन्होंने especially आपका जैसे उन्हें पता चला कि you are coming on our show, they were like, please thank him on our behalf. Because you have been always guiding us in a very good manner, like how things will be, how the lockdown will be, what will be happening. So we were pretty much mentally prepared because of you. So Dr. Kava, of course,
Thank you.
again, I would like to salute you because डॉक्टर्स के लिए तो थैंक यू बहुत छोटा शब्द है. आप अपनी लाइफ को डेंजर में डाल के एंड लोगों के लिए जाते हैं एंड यू आर जस्ट लाइक भगवान का दूसरा रूप डॉक्टर ही होता है. सो डॉक्टर कंवर, व्हाट इज द सिचुएशन राइट नाउ और आप क्या बताना चाहेंगे अब क्या चल रहा है, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, how things will be now, what is the next thing, what you think, what's going to be like the life with
Uh,
COVID right now, what's going on?
Thanks so much, Rashmi. Uh, Ms. Bajwa has given a very elaborate stats as well as the situation overall in India, as particularly in Punjab.
Yeah.
And his state has been doing exceedingly well.
Yes.
And Congress government, hai ji. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Anyway,
जी.
I would like to take you back a little bit into how this virus has been marred in controversies from the very beginning.
जी.
Wuhan became notoriously popular for wrong reasons. Nobody knew Wuhan was, where Wuhan was, but it's now even small children know that. Now the controversy started from the origin of virus. Is it a natural mutation or is it an engineered virus? And if it is an genetically engineered virus in the Wuhan lab, was it a leak, an accidental leak, or a deliberate leak? When we talk of an genetically engineered virus, and we talk of a deliberate leak, that is a very sinister, dangerous thing to even think. But lots of questions have been raised, and there have been Nobel laureates and other virologists who certainly raised this issue that this virus is not a result of a natural mutation down the line, because the behavior, the structure, the chemical structure of the virus was such that they thought that genetically the way the mutations happen, it just was not possible. So some tinkering has been done with that. So, but anyway, these are things for which has raised a lot of political hue and cry. But this is where the controversy started. And China, and especially along with China, was the WHO. And among the WHO, I would certainly blame Tedros, the Director General of WHO, who deliberately delayed the information to the world by 3 weeks. I've been telling that in my interviews in all TV channels since the beginning of this epidemic that we are late. We are late. They have informed us at least 3 weeks late. The flights should have been stopped. So the spread of the virus, which happened exponentially globally, could have been halted to some extent, and the countries would have got a little more time to prepare. and the fatality figures which rose up sharply in Italy, then Spain, then France, Germany, UK, followed by USA, and on the other side of the world was Iran, and it was almost everywhere. So that wouldn't have happened so fast. Then uh, it led to lockdowns. If India had not done the lockdown, the question is what would have happened?
Yeah.
We were not prepared to handle a sea of cases. The hospitals were not prepared. Even we wouldn't have had the PPE kits, the face shields. We wouldn't have had that. And the training that people went through, how to handle, how to care for these patients, and the beds, the separation, the isolation from the non-COVID areas, that takes time. And if we were not prepared through lockdowns, we would have had real trouble. So lockdown does not stop the virus, but it stops its progress. It reduces its progress. So it gives you time. So then, of course, we all know, besides lockdown, the main three things: physical distancing. I call it physical distancing, not social distancing, because I think socially we are closer to the rest of the world because we are just stuck in our homes, and you can always be on your mobile and socially close to other people, your friends. But physical distancing, face masks, and hand sanitization. These were the three pillars which sort of helped us reduce the progress of the disease. Um, Now, this world is the world that we are living in is different, with different norms and routines and a different lifestyle altogether.
Yeah.
And even global economic and political alignments have changed because of this virus. So the life before historians, future historians will like to write life before and after Corona.
Yeah.
So during this period, we also, saw the pressure on the hospitals rise. How we had to rope in other consultants in our hospital. This is what happened in other hospitals too, to cope for the number of cases which we thought we couldn't handle. So we trained other colleagues of ours to be able to manage that. Likewise, the modalities of treatment also changed because newer drugs were roped in. Newer studies were coming almost every day. So we were like updating ourselves. We have a fantastic team of COVID group, which was like ahead of almost anybody else
Yeah.
because we used to discuss all the strategies, the studies, the reports, and the possibility of using a new drug, and simultaneously going in for trials with other agencies, the ICMR. So we were very quick in updating ourselves and being at the cutting edge all the time, whether it was the use of HCQ, ivermectin, anticoagulants, steroids, remdesivir, favipiravir, convalescent plasma, tocilizumab, oxygen, and ventilator strategies. We have a CARP strategy. So everything was like everybody knew how to handle these cases. So, I mean, yet we have had a lot of controversies through the ICMR, whom to test, whom not to test with RT-PCR, whom to hospitalize, whom not to, institutional quarantine or not, and home isolation or not, who to do, when to allow them to move out. It has been mired with controversies, yet we have survived, and we kept learning. And I think ICMR and Ministry of Health also kept learning. So we have evolved through the whole 5 months or so, 4 or 5 months of Corona period, and we have learned a lot. And we think we are trying to get ahead of the virus, which is not possible, but we are catching up very fast. Yeah.
That's a good news that we are catching up very fast, and I think so things should be better ASAP because people are getting stressed out.
जैसे कंवर साहब ने ऑलरेडी कहा है कि दे आर ऑलरेडी इंडियन डॉक्टर्स आर ब्रीदिंग डाउन द नेक ऑफ कोरोना नाउ दे हैव ऑलमोस्ट got hold of corona by its neck, and in a couple of weeks from now we'll be able to overcome that, And once we have done that, तो फिर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता everything will again fall in place. This is what we are looking forward to.
आपने बहुत अच्छा बताया मिस्टर बाजवा कि हेल्थ इज वेल्थ, दैट्स व्हाट यू हैव टॉट आवर पीपल कि इफ यू हैव हेल्थ यू कैन ऑफ कोर्स अर्न वेल्थ, सो टेक केयर ऑफ योर हेल्थ एंड यू विल बी फाइन. सो डॉक्टर कंवर, आई वुड रियली लाइक टू नो, अभी हमें काफ़ी न्यूज़ आ रही है कि रामदेव की जो मेडिसिन है वो काफ़ी इफेक्टिव है एंड उससे भी क्योर हो रहा है. सो प्लीज़ आई वुड लाइक टू नो अबाउट दैट ऑल्सो.
Uh, this is sort of an immune booster, but it is certainly not an anti-corona thing at all. Please keep it out of your mind. Uh, the components that it has, the Ayurvedic components it has, they are all in one way or the other uh, have proven value in Ayurveda, and they have all already been sort of combined to. They sort of showed a trial which was apparently conducted somewhere in Rajasthan. Uh, there were controversies about that. Anyway,
Yeah.
now whenever we talk about an RCT, randomized control trial,
Yeah.
the gold standard among them is placebo-controlled double-blind RCT, randomized control trial, and but for that there are usually committees, there are usually a lot of disclaimers, and you have to prove that you are not in any way associated with the pharma company which is involved in building the sort of giving the drug for the trial, and what is the sample size, how much are the numbers in the patient, so that you can then see where lies the p-value, that statistically, you have to attain good results or positive results in a huge number of patients, not about 80 70 patients or 90 patients or so, 70 patients I believe. The other thing claimed that Baba Ramdev, which I had to refute on a TV channel, was that they did the test on day one, and 3 days later, when they repeated the RT-PCR test for corona, it became negative after taking that coronal, and it negative in 70% cases, and by seventh day it became negative in 100% cases. Now this is absolutely amazing, it is unbelievable. In fact, if it is sent to the scientists across the world how the trial was conducted, they would laugh it off. So let's just say that this is a drug which is got medicinal properties through herbs which are helping your immunity, but by no way one should think if I take this, I'm going to be saved from corona, or if I have developed corona, if I take this, I'm going to get well soon, like it is claimed. So the claims were immediately thwarted by the Ministry of Health, and they in fact told them not to even advertise it as a corona drug, but they have to mention that there is this immunity booster. So that is what I believe. Yes.
So as an immunity booster, they can of course take it, so it doesn't have any side effects or anything. So it's no harm if they want to take it as a precaution, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mr. Bajwa, I really want. हाँ जी, आप कुछ कह रहे थे?
One question for Dr. Kanwar.
जी.
Of late, we have been told that it is now in the air also. Is it, Dr. Saab, can you please explain corona? Is it in the air? Can it now be? Earlier, it was said to be via if you have a physical contact with somebody by these droplets or some kind of thing. But now, of late, they have said, I have studied, read somewhere that it has come in the air also. It can. Is
It
it correct?
is. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Bajwa, it is the news since yesterday.
Yeah.
And this became a news. There was nothing new about that. This became a news because WHO chose to say like that. WHO has been doing a lot of things which were very funny, and they should have done this long back. You see, in the month of April, there was a fantastic study and it was on video. It was actually going around in WhatsApp also by Japanese group, who did, study with laser beams, and then they made the patient cough, and they wanted to see the corona patient. They wanted to see how far the droplets go. This is the time when people were thinking, how much should be the distance? It should be 1 meter, 2 meters, or what between two individuals. So they found that the vast majority of the viruses, they fell down quickly within 2 to 3 feet. In fact, within 2 feet, I think 20 inches or so, most of them, the vast majority of them. But if then there were a few which were floaters, they were the micro droplets. They were very small particles, very small micro droplets, which kept floating. And then they looked at it for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, they stopped the study. So 20 minutes they watched. There were still quite a few of them floating, though the number, as the time passed, the number was going down. But after 20 minutes also, they saw it floating. Now, then at that time, the questions were discussed, raised, and I also sort of discussed this issue on a few places, that they advise that if you keep the doors and windows open, these micro droplets are so small that even with a little drift, they would go out in the atmosphere, and that if the numbers are so low, even if they are inhaled by somebody, they are not going to infect the person, or if they infect the person, the infection is going to be so mild that it will pass off without causing any damage. Now, remember one thing, that we believe, like it's in the case of measles, smallpox, a usual influenza that you know of, the viral fevers, in all this, and in MERS, MERS, and SARS CoV-1, in all these cases, one thing we know is that if the initial viral load, I'm talking about the first viral load, is heavy to somebody, then the virus goes in sort of lax. And that dose is difficult for the individual to handle. So the initial infecting dose being high, the viral load quickly becomes high, and it can take the patient down. Patient down, when I say patient down, means he can become quite sick. He may need to be hospitalized. He may need even ICU care and stuff. So if the initial viral load is just a sporadic through some touch, through a little touch on the knob, and then indirectly from the surface reaching your mouth, and then, in very small quantity, that actually helps you build some immunity. That is not a bad thing to have, because that is not going to cause a major disaster or a very bad disease. So this thing has been floating, and it was proved as early as in April. WHO should have come up with this kind of statement even at that time.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
That's very informative, I'll say. It's very good. And
There's nothing much to worry about, right, on this?
No, the two things. You might be reminded that people also raised the issue of the virus going through our GI system, through the gut, through stools. And, Indians often defecating in the open, especially in villages. So how about that? That is that virus going to be a fecal respiratory route? That was the fear raised at one point. But then it was the virologist and the people studying this, they found that this has a very minor risk. Even if you remember, Amitabh Bachchan also came with some kind of an ad at that time, that you have to be careful and not to go for open defecation, because it can spread COVID also. But anyway, this route through surface touch, or
Hello.
I think so we have some technical difficulty. Dr. Kanwar will be joining us back again.
okay,
Oh, he's back?
am
Yeah,
I
Dr.
audible?
Kanwar.
Okay. So that thing is such a minimal risk that you shouldn't worry about that. And these micro aerosols, micro droplets should not be the cause of worry. Please don't worry about it.
Thank you, Doctor.
Great.
My own mother, let's not go to Rajasthan. My
हाँ जी,
own mother, I treated her
Wow.
with
अच्छा,
IV treatment,
हाँ जी,
and she's fine. She's exactly 90 plus. She's 90 years and 2 months.
That's a good
चलो
news.
well,
Fantastic.
that's
Very nice.
yeah. Say we are always safe when you have a doctor like Dr. Kanwar,
कवर
and
बिल्कुल
you
बिल्कुल ठीक
was
कहा
as
आपने मिस्टर बाजवा आप आई टोटली अग्री विथ यू
Quick message that Corona has already spread. It has almost run its race, and it is burning out, and the fatality rates are relatively low, not so high, and it is going down. Whether it's the virulence which has gone down or some kind of immunity is developing in those people, those areas, especially where the disease has already been there for some time now. So, so stay positive, stay healthy, and keep taking all those precautions. That's all. And you are going to win.
That is so nice. Thank you so much, Dr. Cover, Dr. Soni, for taking your time and being part of our show and sharing your knowledge with our viewers. That has given them too much of limelight and they must be feeling so relaxed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rishmi.
Thank you, Rashmi.